Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back with another tech news. So Asus intend to release Radeon RX 9060 XT in tough, prime and dual listing, confirms the 8GB and 16GB GDDR6 memory options. Asus has these three series for Radeon RX 9060 XT launch, but different in memory sizes. This should help clear up any rumors surrounding the potential cancellation of the 8GB version of AMD upcoming RX 9060 XT, a mid-range GPU that is powered with Navi 44 GPU. This will be the first card to use this chip and the first RDNA 4 model with 2048 cores, in contrast to the RX 9070 series, which offers 12GB or 16GB option. The 9060 XT will come with an 8GB variant instead of 12GB like in RX 9070. Asus seems to be getting ready to launch at least 4 different versions of the card according to the news. So the early listing from unnamed retailers, a hardware leaker Momo_US shared these details on X, revealing that Asus plan to release the tough, prime and dual Radeon cards. And the takeaway is only that the dual version will have 8GB, while the prime model will come in both 8GB and 16GB, as you can see on your screens. The tough, being the higher end option, will feature 16GB of memory. According to the information that news shares that were rumors and leaks, the RX 9060 XT should have a boost clock of at least 3.2 GHz with potential higher speeds on custom versions. However, it will be restricted to 128GB bus memory, which means its memory bandwidth is expected to max out at 320GB per second, exactly half of what the RX 9070 XT offers, and the card is expected to launch at Computex 2025 with availability in June. Next up, today's news is about RX 9070 GRE that is going to launch in China only. And according to the reviews, it has similar performance as RTX 5070 at similar price. However, tomorrow is the official launch of RX 9070 GRE, that is AMD's new GPU in 9000 series lineup. But again, this model will not be available in all regions. The GRE is China exclusive model, and the reviewers are also in Chinese, as the news reports. Now, if we talk about the specs of the GPU, the RTX 9070 GRE features the Navi 48 GPU with 3072 stream processors, 15% fewer than the RX 9070 non-XT. It has 12GB of DDR6 memory on a 192-bit bus that is offering 33% less bandwidth and priced at 4199 RMB, about 7% less than the non-XT. The card's reduced performance at this price has been a point of criticism in early reviews. However, it seems like it's not the case, as the reviews embargo lifted. It appears the RX 9070 GRE offers performance similar to RX 7900 GRE and RTX 5070, but that also depends upon the game setting and resolution. While AMD officially claimed a 6% performance uplift increase over the RX 7900 GRE at 1440p resolution, but reviews do not reflect these results. As you can see on your screen, it's up to 84.7% against the 9070, 95.5% against RTX 5070, and over 127.6% above RTX 5060 Ti. Here the GRE shines a bit more and similar to RX 7900 GRE. So I don't know in which title or in which benchmark the 9070 GRE shows a 6% increased performance, but the results are telling the story otherwise. So here is one of the reviews, and it is translated from Chinese, and he has to say, in a general game test, although there is some difference in specific frame rates, it should be considered that the performance of the RX 9070 GRE in many games is at the same level as RTX 5070. Compared with RTX 5060 Ti 16GB, the RX 9070 GRE can be said to be complete victory, with a leading advantage of up to 24% in Far Cry 6 and Formula 1 24. The difference between RX 9070 GRE and RTX 5070 is only a single digit frames. There is really no need to be so fussy, and actually experience is the same. The ray tracing test results of the RX 9070 GRE are a surprising part for us, except for Cyberpunk 2077, a regular GeForce Advantage project. Radeon is on par with RTX 5070 in Assassin's Creed Shadow and F124, which is almost unseen before and is rare by expert review, and these reviews are in Chinese that is being translated. But if we talk about overall, AMD has launched a decent graphics card, but reviewers aren't too impressed with its value for the price, unlike the RX 9070 XT and non-XT versions, which were priced more competitively. This time AMD isn't really challenging the competition as much as they should have. Next up on the news is Intel drops Core Ultra 7 265K and KF price by $100, now starts at $284. Intel is responding to its struggle in the desktop CPU market after underwhelming performance of its Core 200 series and issues with the 14th gen core lineup. Meanwhile, AMD's 9000X3D series has been dominating, outperforming Intel's Arrow Lake in gaming. To regain attention, Intel is focusing on the Core Ultra 7 265K and 245K models. Now they are offering Intel Core Ultra 7 265K for $299, that was $399 previously, and 265KF for $284, that was $384 previously. Now guys, to be honest, it's a good deal, but we have more of good processors from AMD side that will still beat these CPUs at same price, at least in gaming. And most important, it's not about processor to me, it's about longevity that AMD is offering up to 2027. Now it's almost 7 years. We will be able to upgrade to new processors. We still have 2 more years with the AM5 socket. But Intel, on the other hand, they are planning to release a new processor, but guess what? They are also not going to work in the current socket. So they are releasing new CPU for new socket. The current gen MOBO works for only 1 gen. I mean, who in the right mind will go with Intel at this point, even if they sell CPU for $100 each? Now guys, I don't hate Intel, but the strategy they are using is destroying their company even further. It's not that it's impossible to run 2, 3 or 4 generation of processor on the same socket. Look at AMD, they are doing it and they are doing it very good. And now they are way in the lead in CPU market. I mean, if any of Intel worker is watching this video, are you guys really that stupid to not know what the pulse of consumer market is? If you really wanna shine again, stop this new CPU, new MOBO curse game. That is my honest advice for you guys. Next up, we have some news from Gigabyte. Now, if you remember, I shared the news in which I talked about the GPU thermal gel leakage issue and the statement that Gigabyte gave that this leakage, first of all, is not harmful. But if you install the GPU vertically, believe me guys, it will screw your PCIe slot very badly because it's very messy and gooey and hard to remove. But Gigabyte states that this leakage is due to too much amount of paste applied on the components in GPU, but they have now rectified the issue and the next batch will not see such leakage issue. Gigabyte used server grade thermal gel in RTX 50 series graphics card, and the leakage news I talked about previously was from a user from South Korea. But one thing is very interesting, they mentioned in this news that there is no thermal gel leakage reported in AMD models, and I guess it's due to the design, because the design is different than Nvidia, I guess. But again, the news reports that the issue is related to GPU mounting vertically. Now that's the key factor of spillage, one of key factor. So standard horizontal mounting is safer for these cards. Gigabyte also claims that the issue affected only early production batches, and that may be accurate, but it still concerns owner of the most expensive models 5090, 5080 and 5070, which were sold before any adjustment were made to the thermal gel application. And regardless the usage, hardcore or whatnot, but the issue of gel spill only takes a week after using the graphics card, so time period is almost same for all cards. However, the thermal gel spill has not caused any known issue according to the news, but again vertically mounting GPU are affected more and more, and more importantly the memory modules are exposed due to gel displacement, which is very risky if the chip gets hot. Gigabyte insists the issue is cosmetic and doesn't affect performance or safety, but downplaying the thermal gel near electric contact could pose long-term reliability risks. While avoiding a recall save money, addressing the problem early would prevent potential overheating. Currently Gigabyte's stance is just let it slide, but it doesn't look like they are going to get away with this because more and more cards are piling up. Next up we have some news again from ASRock and AMD CPU being dead. So the news is that ASRock X870 motherboard kills AMD Ryzen 9 9950X, a common phenomena of grey marks on CPU pins reported by user. So we have yet another dead AMD CPU, but this time it's not X3D. Now that is interesting because up till now we have so many dead CPUs, but most of them were X3D variants of chips. Rather this time it's different. ASRock motherboards have been causing major issues, with Ryzen 9000 CPUs reportedly killing nearly 200 of them. While other brands have had similar problems, ASRock seems to lead in failures, and actual number could be higher if unreported cases were counted. As we can see, ex-user TechYes shared his CPU, and according to him CPU is grayed out. That is not normal. According to YouTuber TechYes City brand reported that his AMD Ryzen 9 9950X died unexpectedly, and while he couldn't figure out the reason yet, his videos show that his setup considered of an ASRock X870 Steel Legend. Furthermore, Brian's Ryzen 9 9950X shows visible sign of damage. He shows grayed out pins in the middle at top, which appears to be burn marks and could have been a result of high voltage. Now there is a similar stories, but in some cases the CPU worked and in other it didn't. So clearly something is not being investigated properly, and according to ASRock investigation, such deaths could be caused due to debris inside the socket. I mean, are they saying new motherboards that ASRock sells come with debris residing in them? It makes no sense. One of the Reddit user reported higher power consumption on his setup consisting of Ryzen 7 9800X3D on ASRock X870 Steel Legends and not the X870 Steel Legend. He says that his motherboard is feeding 170 watt to Ryzen 9800X3D since the latest BIOS update, which raises some questions regarding ASRock BIOS update. We have a total of 157 dead Ryzen 9800X3D CPU, and majority of which were killed by ASRock motherboards. Last up for today, and it's very good news. We heard the rumors that base PS5 would not be able to run GTA 6, but Rockstar releases yet another trailer, and if you guys have watched the trailer, views are in millions in just 24 hours. But here is the good news. Rockstar confirms latest Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer was captured entirely on PS5, includes gameplay and cut scenes. Let's continue the news. When Rockstar surprise dropped a new trailer of GTA 6 along with a bunch of information about the game story, and it's correct, many were quick to say that it looked great, but wonder what it would actually looks like outside of the trailer that players assumed wasn't actual gameplay. Well, it turns out it was actual gameplay, and it was all captured on PS5 console, not a PS5 Pro, a PS5. Presumably, if it was captured on PS5 Pro, Rockstar would have made the distinction. However, Rockstar confirmed in a post on X that the trailer was a mix of in-game cutscenes and gameplay all drawn from a base PS5. It's incredible to know that everything we saw earlier this week came from a PS5, and a credit to the work Rockstar has put into up the end for game players have been waiting over a decade for. Players who didn't fork over hundreds to upgrade to PS5 Pro, like myself, me too, are rejoicing right now, knowing that we are all in a incredible looking journey that is coming on May 26, 2026. And if you already bought a PS5 Pro, now you can celebrate thinking about how it will look this good and potentially run at smoother, higher frame rate than what's possible on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Anyone who was on the fence about buying one can do now with full confidence that they will be in for an absolutely stunning experience when GTA 6 launches. If you want to continue celebrating over how good Grand Theft Auto 6 looks, there are already numerous videos analyzing everything about the trailer, showcasing just how much Rockstar has improved the look of everything in GTA 6 compared to GTA 5. Shortly after Rockstar posted this confirmation to Quells, Everyone Doubts Digital Foundry published its analysis video about the trailer. They spotted a few bits of aliasing and how certain details doesn't look as good as they could, like hair effects for example. But overall, the Digital Foundry experts are just as happy as everyone else to see how amazing it looks, even with all caveats they presented and the fact that analyzing a trailer is still no replacement for the analyzing they can do when they have the game in hand. They do, however, stipulate that it will likely only have a 30 FPS mode on launch. I'm not sure guys if the 30 FPS is on the performance mode or balance or quality, but they are saying it will likely only have a 30 FPS mode on launch. It's possible that PS5 Pro users get a 60 FPS mode, but it's more reasonable to expect a 30 FPS mode, not just because all of quality and the tech Rockstar is using to make GTA 6 look this good means that a 60 FPS frame rate just isn't possible on consoles, but because Rockstar has a history of releasing its major games with no 60 FPS mode at launch. And on topic of what's possible with GTA 6, they also speculate that this game is far too big for Nintendo Switch 2 and that it won't be able to run on handheld PCs, at least in any state that you would want to play it in. But who knows, maybe Rockstar is taking their time effort by the delay to optimize GTA 6 as much as possible and get a Nintendo Switch 2 version and or 60 FPS mode ready, if not for launch for sometimes in 2026. By the way guys, I'm very excited to know that it was all recorded in PS5 and it can be run on PS5 at least in 30 FPS. Now I don't know whether it will run 60 FPS in performance mode or not, so yeah, some suspense here, but rather than that, the game looked very good in the trailer and I can't wait to get my hands on one. So yeah, that's it for today guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.